what's up, everybody? This is J Rod here. I'm here to throw you a little something new. You see, this past episode 14, I only had showed like a few things. Nico's trip. We talked about AEW, NXT, New Japan, but there are other things that we haven't spoken that were removed or never been put in. Added. You see, the reason is I have this app called the Video Shot, so I was able to post what I got, but the only problem is there's a limitation up to 1 hour. So this is called the DWZ episode 14 unseen footage. This one we talk about NWA, MLW, and Marty Scurll. Now, by the time this thing will be uploaded, we already have MLW have their first show in Atlanta, and of course the latest MLW Fusion. But hope you guys enjoy. So this is from last Friday, the unseen footage. So enjoy. Since we talked about this before, I have to say this. It is a great time to be a wrestling fan.
Oh, yes.
As you all know, I've talked many times about wrestling promotions are now making headways, having their own televised show, making an appearance. We already witnessed that with AEW, NXT, and Impact. Now we're not that far off with one of the oldest promotions here in the U.S., the National Wrestling Alliance, or as we like to call them, the NWA.
Right.
Now, let's go back to a small brief how this happened. As you all know, this year, NWA were in alliance with Ring of Honor for a short time. They were involved in the Crockett Cup and a few other events. And, of course, Marty had the privilege to face Nick Aldis for the title. And then some point, they decided to call off their partnership. Now, it wasn't something that ROH did, like people probably speculate.
Yes.
It was more like it was time for them to step away. And, of course, they made the decision. They're going to have their own televised series. It's going to be more of a studio setting, from what I understood. And they already have their champions all set up. And, of course, they announced their upcoming televised show on the 30th of September and the 1st of October, from what I understood. I heard that the September 30th has already been sold out completely. So, but I did hear...
That's Monday.
This coming Monday.
Okay.
So I did hear they already booked 5 wrestlers to be part of the September 30, this Monday show. So here's who they have. The first 3 are female wrestlers. Marty Bell, I don't know who she is. Ashley Vox, don't know either, but I do know this person, Thunder Rosa, who I've seen many times over on Sammy Guevara's vlogs. They're frenemies. Don't ask me why, but she's great. Now, the next wrestlers are mostly the males, is Ricky Starks and Eddie Kingston. If you guys are not familiar with Eddie Kingston, if you're not an Impact fan, he was in a rivalry with Conan in Impact Wrestling. So, these are the 5 wrestlers they booked for September 30, which is this Monday. I mean, what do you think?
I mean, I'll check it out because like I actually like seeing more female wrestlers for obvious reasons. Not just that, but also because like the new style of female wrestling is just starting to be on par with male wrestlers. So like I'm excited to see that. But other than that,
not to mention, you also probably want to hear Jim Cornette.
Jim, yes,
who was the play-by-play commentator for NWA.
Old corny.
So yeah, I've been aware that Jim Cornette has been hired to become the play-by-play commentator because I think he's more of a veteran with this promotion for a long time. You know, it's before the NWA became like the promotion that faded out when WWE and WCW kind of skyrocketed.
He was there back when he was just a picture boy, just taking pictures.
Yeah, so I'm excited for these guys because I know that this is a long time coming for them. You know, because not a lot of wrestling fans ever get to talk about NWA, but unless if you're like a bit older,
right,
like somewhere in your mid or late 30s, you know of NWA when you were a kid.
Mm-hmm.
If you lived in the areas where these guys have been around.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's like we never get to hear about them a lot.
Mm.
I mean, this is one of, like I said, this is one of the oldest promotions in history. That dates back,
still active.
Yeah, and these guys been around since the late 1940s, which is a long time. But since I got the email saying, how can I watch it, I'm going to look at it and let you guys know how to find out.
Right.
Because, like I said, it is a great time to be a wrestling fan. So, we'll let you guys know. I'll let you guys know when or how you can watch it. But just stand by on this one. Alright. We just saw the latest MLW episode. And I know you were disappointed on the main event on that one.
Yes.
It was the MLW Tag Team Championship with Dynasty versus the Hart Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what was it you did not like about this one?
Hart Foundation lost.
Yeah. I mean, right now, I still speculate at this moment maybe MLW want to give these guys maybe more of a longer run.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like there are other teams out there that want these titles.
Right.
The only two that can come in mind at this point, for me, is Contra Unit.
Mm-hmm.
Because they currently have the World Heavyweight title hostage.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who could get this title? I can think of two right now. Simon Gotch and Joseph Samael. So they're the only two people I can picture they will go for the hunt for these tag team titles.
I think Simon Gotch is going to go with their new guy that they have in their squad.
Well, he looks more like a middleweight.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
You know, because I have a feeling they may have him go for the middleweight title, which is currently held by Teddy Hart.
Oh, that's right. That angle did come up on that episode.
Yeah, and then of course the other team I do think that could be on the title hunt for these tag team titles is Ross and Marshall Von Erich.
They do have unfinished business with them.
And with Contra Unit.
Contra Unit.
But like if you follow the story, they're not gonna let Contra Unit get their hands on these titles. They look more like the superheroes of the MLW.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they want to bring honor into MLW.
Okay.
And Contra Unit is the ones that want to burn MLW. That's the way the story goes.
I like Contra Unit.
Yeah, so I do picture those two teams on a title hunt.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, one of them has to be the number one contender, from what I understood. But also, speaking of the middleweight, since we mentioned that, Austin Aries is demanding that he wants to get his hands on the middleweight title. Now, if you guys know who Austin Aries is, you've seen him, you heard him, you heard all the stories about him, you're probably asking yourselves, why is he going for the middleweight title? Why not the world title?
I think he cut weight.
He did.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Ever since he lost the Impact title to, what's his name, to Johnny Mundo, he might have lost all the other other world titles to the other promotions.
Yeah.
But he doesn't look like he did cut some weight.
Yeah.
Maybe he decided, maybe it was a bit too much. Because of course we have heard stories about him that he's very difficult to work with.
Yeah, he's very difficult to work with.
I mean, WD had to deal with him, so was Impact, but I'm assuming that MLW are trying to work with him, like trying to see what they can do to make him happy.
Mm-hmm.
But he did say when he first started to show up in MLW that he's now on the hunt for the middleweight title. Because I know MJF thinks that he lost that title by a fluke by Teddy Hart, and I know that there's that I do picture the fourth member of Contra Unit. He looks more like the kind of guy who can get that title as well. Because we've seen like factions in the past that get all the titles. You know, we've seen that with Bullet Club. We've seen that with Chaos.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen that with NWO. We've seen
Undisputed Era.
Oh, yeah, that too. So they could go with that story with Contra Unit to have all the titles.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty much would like to see if that's the angle they want to go with. You know, with Contra Unit trying to gain all the titles as possible, because right now, like I said, we have an Undisputed Era who are, well, they have all of them except for one.
Mm-hmm.
The women's title, they need to find a female in the team.
I remember when what's it called? When Conti first came to NXT, it was Undisputed Era that brought her in. Do you remember that? And then after that, that angle went away.
Well, we'll see how they're going to go. I think they're trying to figure that out, too,
Yeah.
with Undisputed Era, because I know they could have a female in their faction. They just need to find someone who fits, like, they can hang with the boys.
Yeah.
That type of story. But I did hear some point in MLW that they're considering having women in their promotion.
Oh, they are missing that.
Because we have, like we've seen many times over, that the women's division and promotions are now becoming more stronger. You know, AEW made it clear they want to make that a priority.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and what other ones? We know that the women's in WWE are hanging in there as possible. And of course, we've seen how great the Yoshi girls down in Japan are. You know, so I would like to see women in MLW too.
Yeah.
Because it's something that's missing. You know. But yeah. But we'll let you guys know what's going on with MLW, see what's going on with the tag team title hunt. See, like, if I do predict it's either Contra or the Von Erichs, I'll just say it out there out loud. So we'll continue on with this episode. All right, Nico.
Mm-hmm.
Last week you weren't here. I was talking about this man, the villain.
The villain,
Marty Scurll. Now, if
Marty.
If you guys recall, I talked about Marty has his own YouTube series called VETV, which stands for Villain Enterprise TV. Now, the recent episode, near the end, he had a visit from Nick Aldis, the current NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, Marty was talking to him when he's going to have his rematch with him for the title. But out of nowhere, Nick asked him this: what is the status of your contract? And I said this on the last episode, that looks like there's a fourth option for him. Now, let's talk about the ones we do know. We know WWE has him on their radar. And there's a factor to it. His girlfriend is with the NXT. 2, AEW, which we all know majority of fans would love to see him there. Because don't forget, we need to see the Elite reunite.
Oh, yeah.
And then 3, we don't know for sure if Ring of Honor are interested of having him back or resign. You know what I mean?
We don't even know if Ring of Honor is even interested in wrestling, period.
Yeah, so we'll put that on the back burner for now. Now we got NWA, who Nick Aldis is saying he wants to bring him in. Now, I can see Marty with 2 different promotions. It's either either or. It's like, I can't see him with AEW or NWA. What do you think?
I could see him with NWA because it gives him the freedom to be also in AEW, and with the possibility of still going to New Japan for their junior heavyweight pay-per-views. I don't really see him going to. I don't really see him staying with ROH or going to WWE. However, it would make a nice pop. Surprise pop.
Yeah, I mean, people probably would say, would he join, if he does go with WWE, would he join the Undisputed Era? Because don't forget, there was that story between Marty and Adam because they were hanging out with the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be a possibility too.
Well, if we're going with the storyline, he would not because Adam Cole was fired to replace him with Marty.
But of course, WWE would never mention that.
That's true. That's
you know,
true.
they could build up a story saying, "Oh, they were old friends from years ago." All this and that. However you want to run with it.
Well, they carried on the rivalry with Shinsuke and AJ.
True. And then, but of course, we all know that Ring of Honor. We have seen time and time again. I don't know if you remember this.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned this before with you. Nick and Matt Jackson, the Bucks, mentioned that they felt like they weren't being, that Ring of Honor never valued them.
No.
You know? Because here's the thing. It was them who put Ring of Honor on the map to begin with.
Easily.
And the problem is that I have, like, you don't appreciate what they've done for you guys.
Yeah.
You know, they put you guys on the map.
I'm pretty sure that you didn't, like, if there wasn't the Bucks, Kevin Steen, Adam Cole in Ring of Honor, you wouldn't even remember Ring of Honor.
Yeah, and right now, like, they have Bell Enterprises, like they were filling the void that was missing. But I mean, I hope if they come to sense, say, look, you guys have this great team right here, Phil Enterprises. You should value them for what they could bring to your company. If you don't, then you're showing that you have no interest of being in the wrestling business.
Right.
You know, and that leaves the door open for WWE, AEW, and NWA to have them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you said, you don't picture him being in WWE, but there are certain things that can go with it.
Oh, yeah.
But there's two strong promotions we can see him in is AEW and NWA.
Mm-hmm.
But we just got to wait and see because we do know that his contract ends in November. But we do know that we may see him in New Japan for the last time for a short time, depending how this is gonna roll.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe there's a possibility that he and Flip Gordon could participate in the Super Junior Tag League.
Right.
So
that's coming up
next month.
Yeah.
So New Japan hasn't announced yet, but we're getting close to the month.
Mm-hmm.
And I just hope if they do that, then the Marty and Flip can go out with the bang on this one. You know, because that we would love to see that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, both Flip and Marty teaming up. And of course, you can go out, it's Marty and Flip take Japan.
Oh, yes. I missed that.
So we'll keep an update on Marty's status, what's going on with him. And of course, we will find out where he's going to go after Ring of Honor. I mean, he kind of gave me a bit of a scoop, but we're not going to spoil it just yet. You just got to wait and see. And do not ask, please. All right.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Right now, like I said, this is unseen footage. There are others like this from other previous episodes, but right now I'm too not compelled to go through all of them. But this one I have to. I felt like I need to start doing these because this is important stuff. So as soon as I upload one episode, and there's some months, I'll try to upload it the next day. But I was only a couple of days late because there were some things that came around that I had to take care of. So I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye and have a nice day. Bang.